Hey, how is everyone doing? My name's Kurt. I'm a dad who draws. Tonight we are doing our live portrait drawing of this gentleman with a bowler hat, dark long hair, mustache, goatee. It should be really great. I'm looking forward to it. My name's Kurt. I'm a dad who draws, and I am so glad that you're here. Let's jump right into this, okay? And then let me show you something really fast here. I've got my little skull here, and I want to point something out to you all. If you have drawn with me many times before, I've said this over and over again, but if it's your first time, I want to show you on the skull how the human head is very flat along the sides, but if we turn it to a profile, it's extremely round. So what does that do? When we are drawing a portrait, it gives us an opportunity to combine a straight line with a round line. And I think we could kind of see that in this portrait tonight. So let me point it out to you here. Put that there. Let's see here. Check this out. You find this to be helpful, hopefully. Look, I always look, whenever I'm drawing a 3/4 view, I always look for where is the flat side, and then of course this back part is going to be round. It's a great little way to start your drawing off by getting that flat side and getting that round. So let's do that together here. All right, so I'm going to just very loosely, it's almost like a gesture here. I'm going to come over here, and there's kind of my flat side here, and then we'll just come over here for my round. Okay. Let me walk you through this as we do this as a group. All right, so there's kind of my round. This is what we're looking for. The next step in drawing the portrait that I like to do is locate where the temple is. Where's the temple? Check this out. The temple, I think the temple's going to be right about there, okay? That's about where the temple is. So on your paper, go ahead and just kind of estimate about where that is going to be. I'm going to say mine is going to be right about there. We'll make some adjustments here in just a bit. The next step I like to do is establish where the brow line is, All right, so look at this. There's the brow line, just like this. Let's pop that in, looking for that angle exactly, okay? So let's see here. We're going to come in like this. Next, I always look for his ear, and look right there. You can see his ear lobe. I bet you his ear below his hair is about there. So at the temple there, look at that. The angle, I'm going to change the angle of the head. So let's come in here like this, and then this turns the corner to the flat side of his head. And at this point, if you want, you could kind of pick up that traditional Andrew Loomis line where you are creating a plane that's on the side of the head. You could do that now. And it looks like mine is off just a bit, so I'm going to just redraw mine because it looks great in the photo. Might as well try and, there it is. All right, another aspect, I kind of follow Andrew Loomis loosely, but we also have this, you could divide the side just like that. You see that? And then of course your ear will always go in this bottom corner section. There's Louise. Okay, next what I like to do is establish where the center line is of the face. You see that? Now, mind you, it's a 3/4 view, so the center line is not going to be dead center. It's going to be off just a little bit over here, you see? Something like this maybe. And typically the center line, that kind of runs down the center of the face like this. And it matches, it's parallel to kind of all those other lines, you see? So we can do that as well. Take that there and just kind of get that parallel. From the brow line, we put a little mark that is below the nose, and then take that from that distance right down to the chin right there, you see? So let's see, let's get that down here. I'm gonna be right about there. Let's see here. I'm gonna come right there. So I'm gonna take that distance, and that's gonna give me about where the chin is. Okay, next is gonna be the eye line. And that's just below the brow line. You can see it right there. So go ahead and drop that in as well. And now that we have all of that, you could kind of estimate about where the top of his head is, you see? So you could, even if you want, you could kind of like round that in, something like that. And you know, while we're doing that now, as you are putting all those marks in place, let me just thank you for watching the video. And you know, if you're not a subscriber to my channel, I would really ask you to subscribe to the channel, like the video, and leave a comment of something that maybe you learned tonight, or one of the things that you find most valuable when watching some of my videos. But definitely subscribing. I would love to see my subscribers get up to about 25,000 this year. That would be incredibly awesome. It's what I'm gaming. It's what I'm aiming for. So if you don't mind doing that, that would be excellent. All right, let's go ahead and remove all of that. Let's see here. What am I looking for? I'm doing this way here. I'm going to take away all those marks there. Okay. So that you can see our picture here, right? All right. Let's come down now and get his nose in place. And I'm going to start with that little angle of the glabella. That's the space right in between the eyebrows. And then look at the tip of his nose is going, I mean, this is really like coming off the side of his face. You see that? So we really want to pull that out. And the bottom of his nose is coming upward, just like that. And you can even see this eyebrow here is kind of coming at a nice angle. Let's go ahead and get his nostril in place. Oh, great. Inflection, you love the reference. Excellent. It is a fun one. Okay, next let's kind of establish where the ball of the mouth is, because once we establish the ball, it's easier for us to place the mustache, the goatee. And my point is, in doing this, is we are building construction. Construction leads to likeness. So let's get this ball of the mouth way out there like this, and it's coming in just like that. And while you're at it, you could kind of put a square there for his chin. And we'll put a line to where his mouth is, and there's the corners. And the ball of the mouth is round, so it's not really a straight line. We want to curve it out. Just look, curve it like this. This will help us when we build our teeth, if we're going to build our teeth. Okay, let's go ahead. Next thing we get is eyes in place, and usually I look for the tear duct, but you can't see the tear duct on the other eye because it's behind the nose. But we sure can see that tear duct. And let's see. Usually, if we do a vertical line from the nostril, it will line right up with that, and it looks like it's pretty close. So on my drawing, I'm going to come up here, and I'll put a little dot just like that. And then I'm going to put another dot now. Now, one way to establish how wide this is, you could do it a couple ways. But one, since we're on a 3/4 view, you could kind of compare it to the width of the nose. So as you can see that the width of the eye is definitely a little bit less than my nose. So looking at my nose here, I'm going to come right about there. All right, here we go. We're going to have a nice up, slight across, and then down. I always try and do the top of my eyes with 3. 1, 2, 3. And then the bottom, I try and do an S curve. All right, let's get the other side now. All right, 1, 2, and then a 3 like this. That looks pretty good. There's Christina. And now let's tuck that other eyeball in. Just drop that in there so it's nice and tight. You can add a little bit of value to these irises. I think I've drawn mine a little too big, but I'm just going to go with that. I think I might cut into it a little bit, but I want to work on the foreshortened eye first. So check this out. This is dropping in just like that. You see that little line, the shadow there, and it's definitely has some value here. And make sure that you drop in like the white. Don't make the whites of the eyes so white. Don't make them white at all, actually. Look, all this is tone over here. Then you get his cheek. Look at this. His cheek is the bright part. And look at, I always love these parts of the, these little fatty areas here, the forehead, that like are underneath the eyebrows. And when people are worried or their brows come together like this, it just is, it's such a great little thing to draw. So look, there's that side there. I'm going to erase that center dot right there. And then we've got the other brow over here. Do you see that? Ooh, let's get that. Let's get the rest of this eye in first before we put that brow in there. All right. And that eyebrow, look at that. That is just very heavy and dark here. So don't be afraid to really punch that in. So while you're working on that, let me I just want to bring this up here really quickly. This is the daily draw. It's a daily drawing program that I have. And I will put a link for you to sign up for it in the comments when we're done. You know, the daily draw is for anyone who really struggles with being consistent at drawing every day. I've set this up to where I draw every day with you live, Monday through Friday. Mondays we look at something that is natural. Tuesdays is man-made. Thursdays always a aspect of portraiture. Thursday is character design, and Friday's animal. So if you are really struggling to stay consistent, sign up for the daily draw, and I'll help you maintain a habit of drawing. And you will be amazed if you stick with it for 3 months. If you stick with it for 6 months, wow, it really can make a huge difference. I've got some students that have been with me for years still taking it, and they just keep coming along really nicely. In fact, I think there's a few of them I can see have commented here already. So anyways, check that out. Sign up for the daily draw, and you will find that in the comment section. All right, enough of that. I'm going to turn that off now. And let me bring back our picture here. Boom, boom. Okay, let's go ahead and keep working on this. All right, so look at the shadow around his eyes there. You see that? So let's just kind of very roughly kind of outline the shape of that. And we're going to just come in with a light tone across this whole eye. Boom, just like that. And then he's got that great shadow underneath that goes right underneath that eyeball there. All right, then we also have to give some tone to this glabella, just like that. Okay, let's continue on. I'm going to drop a little tone underneath his nose there, like that as well. Okay, let's follow the form for this mustache of his. So we're going to come down like this. Just outline it. Outline it first. Look at this. It comes around here. Look at that. There's the side of his chin right there. That lip, and it comes around that, you see? Go ahead and fill that in. Get that corner there. That makes a big, big difference. All right, bottom lip. And then of course that mustache is right there. Okay, so it looks like I made my chin just a little bit long. So I'm just gonna kind of erase it right there just a bit. All right, so there's the brow line. There's the eye line. Look at all of these lines are parallel. Well, the same thing that goes with the chin. Look at it. Chin is going to be just like that. Let's come over here now and establish where that. We're making adjustments here. It's all good. There's his jawline coming around. And then let's get that neck in as well. Look at this neck. Where does it point to? Okay, that it's like pointing right to the tip of his nose almost. That's the alignment of it. So let's take this away. And then you could actually see this is going to be coming in here just like this. Oh, Louise, that's wonderful. Thank you. What a great compliment. But a lot of credit, of course, Louise, goes to you, because if you're not drawing, you can't improve. So, but yeah, I'm so glad that you have really improved, and we're just getting started, right? All right. Let's come in here now. Let's get the outline there of that sideburn, right? And then just what I'm going to do here, now watch this. We're just going to kind of come down here, and all I'm going to do right here is kind of look at this. I'm just gonna kind of quickly outline the hair, and I'm gonna do this lightly. I'm gonna do this lightly here. So let's see here. Come down here like this. All right, we'll leave that just like that. That's pretty good. And then I'll even come to the other side. Just doing it very lightly. Very lightly. And let's talk about drawing hats. Drawing hats. So I figured this out a long time ago, and it changed the way I draw hats. When I go to draw a cowboy hat or anything like that, baseball cap, doesn't matter. The first thing I do is I forget about the rim. I don't even think about the rim. I just think about the cap part. So that's the first thing I want you to draw here. So let's just come up. This hat's got to fit his head. So we can just come up on both sides like this, and then draw the cap just like that. That might be a little bit high, so we'll come down a little bit. All right, there's the cap. I've got it the right size. Not anymore, Judy. Not after tonight. Get the cap first. Then so the cap first. Next thing is you want to draw, where does it come in contact? Where does it come in contact with the forehead? So check this out. So it's coming in contact here and all the way back here. Look at that. All right, that's the line we're looking for. So let's just come in here now. All right, we got it. All right, so now we've got the cap. All right, last. Now we just get the brow. Now we get the brim. So how do you do the brim? Well, first of all, let me get rid of some of this stuff here. Okay, the brim. This is what you want to look for. Where does it come in contact with the head first? Okay. How far? That's another line. How far out do you bring it? What's the peak? How high up does it go? And how far back does it go? That's what you need to do. We used to have this thing. I still use this program called Illustrator. And when you were tracing something, you'd always like north, south, east, and west. What is the furthest points to the north? And that's really what we're looking for. We're looking at the furthest points away. So let's got all that in place. Let's go ahead and mark those. So first part is right there. All right. Next point is going to be, let's see now. Now look, this is a good marker right here. Watch. I know where this is because I've already drawn it on my paper, on my page. So where is that? Where is that? That's a little bit higher than that and out a little bit. So we're going to come out to there. Okay, where is this? All right, where is that? Now that's right above his hair. Let's see if I come here. Okay. It's going to be right about there. And then the back is going to be about here. All right, so this isn't rocket science, but it sure does help. I'll tell you that. Okay, so looking at that, I could already see that I've got my hat tilted backwards, so that's okay. That's why we do it. All right, so I'm gonna just erase that back line there and make an adjustment. All right, I like that better. All right, and then I could see that maybe my my original height of that bowler hat probably was pretty good. Okay. All right, let's add some overall value or tone to this cap. And then go really dark, dark underneath this brim, really dark. All right, you can see also his, look at this, his whole forehead is dark up here, right up to there. See, now we could kind of come in here and add some value. Add some value there. All right, I'm going to come in here now with my mustache and drop some dark darks. Now it's just like, now that we got the construction down, now it's time to start dropping in value everywhere. So let's talk about this hair here that he's got going. So let's think about, oh, I think everyone's doing well. Thanks, Patty. Look at these these are all S curves. S curves. Look at that S curve coming in here. And when you're drawing these S curves, look, just come in here. And I like to put lines where things are curling, right? All right, we're going to drop some value, get some nice rich blacks in here. This under hair here, look at that. This is a much darker value. All right, coming along nicely here. What about this other side? This hair on this other side here. I'm thinking of really trying to get some value in here. But think of this hair as just lots of, just think of it grouping like this. Look, S curve, and then the other S curve is going to be like this. You see how I've off-centered that? C curves. C curves and S curves. That really does it. And I'm going to make sure that there's a dark value right next to his skin. This will cause that edge to have a lot of contrast and make this really pop off quite nicely. And you can even like if you have something of black like his mustache, what you could do is add just this fine, like fine little line or something like that. You see that? And there you go. We got some time left here, so I'm going to do one thing here. Let's do something for fun. I'm going to take this here. We had someone in our group the other day ask about caricatures. So let's put this up top here. I'm going to move this head over here so you can still look at it. So if you're going to draw a caricature, right? That's where you can have a lot of fun. So I'm going to just kind of do that really quickly here. And you can really exaggerate. So you're going to use the same techniques that we just did, but you're going to have a lot of exaggeration. So let's see. So there's the brow line. There's the side of his head. And you can see him, I've already kind of laid this thing out almost like a cube, right? There's my center line right there. So don't just have a ball with this. Look at this. Maybe a giant nose. There's my eye line. All right, look at that. Total exaggeration. You know, trying to draw caricatures of people is a great way to also learn, because it's funny, it's fun, it's sometimes it can take the pressure off of what you're trying to do, and you can actually do a real good job at them. And we end up using the same exact techniques. I found sometimes if I am, I'll get so hung up in the details of something that I'll miss the big picture. But then when it comes to caricature, I just don't care as much. And the caricature drawing, sometimes they'll come out far more loose, and it just overall looks better. It's like a... It's almost like a warm-up in some ways. But you're using all the same skills that you would if you were to do a normal portrait. And I think we got it. So there you go. There's a quick little, fun little portrait, little caricature along with it. Hope you enjoyed that. Hey, make sure you like and subscribe to the channel. Comment on the video. That would be awesome. All right? Go out there, make your day great. Thanks for tuning in, everyone.